Hello, Frugal fans. This is Captain Frugal, formerly known as the Frugal Gamer, and today I will be reviewing Green Arrow Year 1 trade paperback from April 14th of 2009. I just want to give you a heads up, the reason I did this name change was so I can also review other things of interest. Alright, so this book goes back, as I said, to April 14th, 2009. It's a trade paperback of 160 pages. It covers 6 issues, so you can actually buy the issues, or you can save a lot of money by buying the trade paperback for $15 or less, or getting it from places like the library. The author of this is Andy Diggle, and the illustrator, I believe his name is Jock. Now, this book it covers Oliver Queen, known as the Green Arrow from the Justice League of America. You know, the same trusty guy that's defended Star City using his arsenal of deadly arrows with his bow. But this book takes you on and gives you a new take on things, rewinds you back in time, and gives a new take. Now, Oliver Queen in this book is a frivolous playboy with little care for anyone else, apparently not even for himself. But in this book, he ends up getting double-crossed. So let's explore this. The book starts by showing Oliver and Hackett, his employee and somewhat faithful friend, in search for something, and it shows right from the start that he is carefree and reckless, as it seems. And Oliver just doesn't have any care about his own life. The story shows that he has an early fascination as well with archery, which adds depth to the character. He liked the idea behind Robin Hood, and even though he himself is rich, it shows an internal conflict here. Okay. Now, a shady business opportunity comes to light, and Oliver wants part in it. Remember that Oliver wasn't a good person at this time. Hackett did not want Oliver in on it, but Oliver uses his position of power to get on it anyway. Now, this is where the story really takes off, and you'll see that Oliver is shooting a bow and arrow, the one he just recently purchased at an auction, and practicing with it. It's actually pretty good. It gets a little bit of the history of him shooting the bow. But it ends up Hackett reveals that it wasn't what he was leading to be, and it was really a ploy to take a whole bunch of Oliver's money. And since Oliver decided to be on the boat, he's going to have to kill them. He also reveals that he's working from somebody else, which could be China White. During the fight, Hackett's supposed to kill Oliver, but doesn't end up doing it. Instead, he ends up pushing him overboard. Now, what happens is Oliver is washed up on an island during issue 2, where he's left to reassess his life and fend for himself to survive. Oliver discovers that this island also has some secrets, such as a burned-down village and skulls with bullet holes. So as the story moves forward, we're going to learn more about this. So taking us into issue 3 of the series in the trade, Oliver learns more about true happiness, which he seems to have never been really able to find before, even with all of his riches. As the story evolves, Oliver finds that he's no longer alone on the island as well, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Oliver discovers that the island's a great place to grow poppies for opium, because he stumbles onto an illegal drug operation. But before he knows much about what's going on and investigates, he's confronted by a pregnant woman, Taiana, who explains what happened to the villagers on the island as they are enslaved to grow these illegal drugs. So Oliver hears an engine and hides to keep Taiana from getting killed, because if they're seen, they're going to kill Taiana and the villagers. So while he's hiding, he sees China White and his old pal Hackett. At the end of this issue, ends up Oliver's facing off in a fight with Hackett, and they both end up suffering. Neither leave unscathed. At the end of the issue, Oliver passes out from shock because he has a broken arm and the bone is actually protruding through his skin. This takes us to issue 4. In this issue, Oliver awakens bandaged and being helped by a pregnant woman, Taiana, the same woman he met earlier. We also discover that Hackett was not killed in the fight as well. Oliver takes what seems to be days to heal as Taiana sneaks out and helps feed him and treat him each day. And she's treating him with opium, a form of opium for the pain. But when Oliver is healed, it is revealed that he's become growing dependent on this painkiller. He does not respond logically and kindly when Taiana tells him that they need to wean him off the drug. Taiana also tells Oliver that there's a ship heading to America and that he should sneak aboard to get away from the island. But Oliver pleads for her to leave with him, and she says she will not leave and have her unborn child, birthed there while hiding aboard a ship. Oliver asks about the father as well of the ship, if he's alive, and she tells him, but I don't want to get into too much on that, because I want that to surprise you. She then also tells him to leave and get people to come to rescue them, because the villagers consider him a hero, and they have named him the Green Arrow. Just before Taiana leaves, they're discovered and a fight commences. During the fight, Green Arrow's bow is broken and he's forced to run away. Oliver discovers a yacht while running away, that his yacht it was, that went up on shore actually. So he goes in there and he discovers there's enough food and fuel for him to leave and go back home if he chooses to. But instead, he decides he's going to stay and fight off those drugs first. So first he stays several days and fights off the effects of the drugs to get over his addiction. Now that he's armed with this bow that he had on that boat as well, he decides to burn the yacht, knowing that it's going to make the drug dealers see it and come to him to take him out. But this time he swears he's going to be ready for him. So he had the opportunity to leave, but instead he says, no, I'm going to fight for justice. Showing real depth in his character. So that takes us to issue 5. This issue starts with drug dealers seeing the smoke from the yacht and coming over to get Oliver. Oliver makes quick work of those drug dealers with his special skills, but not before they can call for help. Oliver then takes the drug dealer's boat, finds a map, which will help him find the location of the boat that Taiana was telling him about earlier. While on the boat, Oliver has a personal moment as well of reflection of who he used to be and how much he's changed. Oliver discovers more that is going on the island as well, and he knows that he has to help these oppressed villagers. Oliver uses the radio that he discovers on the boat and tells them that he's killed Oliver, them impersonating one of the evil drug dealers, and that he's told to bring in his head for proof. So he uses that as a way to get to the big boat that he needs to. So as he does, this is a great issue. We also get to see, by the way, in this issue, the knockout, his first time of a knockout arrow and a rocket arrow. So it's great. So he uses this rocket arrow to make an explosion too to help free the villagers. China White alerts everyone that Oliver is there, and then they try to take the boat and get away with all the drugs. But Oliver stops them. Oliver gets on the radio and calls for help as well, but the power is cut before he can fully finish the transmission. Hackett was the one that cut the power, and he now confronts Oliver. He ends up electrocuting him a little bit as well, or shocking him, if you will, which is the end of issue 5 and takes us into issue 6. So as I said, at the end of issue 5, he gets shocked and electrocuted. So in issue 6, he's fighting off the effects. And during this time, Hackett's got him pinned down in the boat. But no matter what he throws at him, grenades and things, he just can't keep Oliver down, and Oliver manages to get out. The villagers are also fighting their way to freedom from the guards, and the guards see that the tide is turning. The villagers also have a chance to leave, but Taiana says that she will not leave without the green arrow. Oliver fights him off more of the drug dealers, but has also shows compassion for them by not killing them. As the ship with the drugs is sinking, Hackett drops down to finish Oliver for good, and kicks him and knocks him down. And he has him at gunpoint, but Taiana saves Oliver at that point when she catches him from behind and points a gun at him. So when this is where she's dealt with the decision. Should she kill Hackett? Oliver pleads and casts for him not to kill Hackett, showing that once again that he's not the same person he used to be, and also because there's some level of friendship still there. During the debate, Hackett is shot in the back, but not by Taiana, but by China White. And China and other thugs here have Oliver now at gunpoint, and Oliver is down to his last arrow. And he will not give in, saying that if he goes down, she'll be shot through the heart. And China responds she never has no heart. So Oliver explains a little bit about Robin Hood and things too, and uses that to gain some time. And he shoots an arrow up into the air and hits a rope, which drops some crates down. And drops these crates on all the crew of China White and her drug-dealing crew, and leaves them appear to be drowning in the water. Now, while Oliver and Taiana share a moment afterwards, she reveals she can no longer hold back and she's giving birth. After a short delivery, she says her baby is born free now, and she names her, and I'm not going to try to butcher that name in a foreign language, but it translates. Right, so let's look at some of the pros of this book. The story develops Green Arrow as a character by providing more into his past and provides an evolution of the character. For example, we see Oliver's first special arrow, the Signal Flare Arrow. Year 1 is also a great new introduction to the character in the New 52, and is also a base for some of the stories of the television show Arrow. The story also shows that Oliver is much more than a playboy and a fool. He's also smart and able to pull moves like MacGyver. And the story also has some great fight scenes. The pace of this book was good, and the story made you care for Oliver overall. So now let's look at some of the cons then too. The villains in this book seem to be a little bit one-dimensional. It could have used some more depth, especially between Ollie and Hackett. Some people love the art style of this book. I just found it decent at best. It just didn't quite do it for me. It was good, but it made me wonder how much better it could have been. But my biggest gripe probably was that at one point Ollie was against killing, so it seemed. He went out of his way not to kill. But at the very end, he shot an arrow up in the air, dropping crates down on China White and her thugs, appearing to know it was probably going to kill them by hitting them with the craze or drowning, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So that did have me scratch my head a little bit. But ultimately, this was a good book. is a strong book. I would recommend reading it. Matter of fact, for a score, I would give it an A. If the artwork was better, it'd probably be an A+. So overall, this is a book I'd recommend spending your money on, or going out and at least getting at the library. Once again, thank you very much. This is Captain Frugal. If you liked this and found it helpful, please make sure you hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our website at the Henchman's Lounge.